one.
Welcome to Reset to Healthier Relationships, Sunday nights at 9. I am Coach Glenda here with my course manager, Mr. Rufus Carpenter. Rufus and I have created this format as a safe place to discuss trials, struggles, and victories in past and present relationships. This is not a one-size-fits-all open discussion. There is no topic too minor or major we cannot discuss. We encourage everyone to participate and speak their truth. This is a non-judgmental zone, so talk as much or as little as you would like. And before we start off with our topic for tonight, which is part 2 from last week, I'm going to allow Mr. Carpenter an opportunity to tell you a little bit about himself as well as his background and what he brings to Reset to Healthier Relationships Sunday nights at 9.
Good evening, everybody. Like she said, I'm Rufus Carpenter. I'm coach and course manager here at Reset, and I enjoy this position. I enjoy coming together with you every Sunday night at 9, and we're sharing relationship and relationship talks. Dr. Johnson and Ava, you guys are stand-up champions. We're glad to have you here. So welcome aboard tonight. This being the last Sunday of the year, and this is the last time we're gonna get together this year, I wanna wish you all a very happy very happy new year. It's been a great year. You guys have shared a lot. You guys have taught a lot, and we just had so much fun. I really love having you here every week, and we can share some things. My background in this space is a little different than most. My background started as a young boy in a family of 14. We lived in a 3-bedroom house. It was 14 kids and 2 adults, so 16 people in a 3-bedroom house with only 1 bathroom. So you can imagine what we went through. But that was the thing that really helped me with the essence of the human connection. But what started for me was we never had enough. Seemed like there was never enough because we always run out of stuff. So everybody had to pitch in. So I remember one week I was doing chores around the neighborhood. I was cutting grass for neighbors. I was chopping wood. I was going around finding pop bottles on the side of the street and cashing them in for money. And I worked that whole week. And that weekend, I really raked grass and got it all in. And when I brought my money home to my mom that Saturday afternoon, and I had like $35 and like 25 cents. And man, I can still remember today how my mom hugged me and she says, "Oh, Rufus, I'm so proud of you." And she cried a little bit as she kissed me and said she was so proud of me. From that moment on, that changed my life. I became what's called a helper. I enjoy service to people. I will give you the shirt off my back because that moment made me feel so good that I was able to pitch in and help my family get to the next level. So that has stuck with me even today. I'm still in that same helper's high. So that's part of my background. The other part of my background, I was married 27 years to the same lady. And if you married that long, you learn a thing about compromise. You learn a thing about trust. You definitely learn to communicate. Trust me, you learn that. And these are the things not so much necessary for a successful marriage, but these are the things for understanding the human relationships. My story didn't stop there. I joined the United States Army, and one of my jobs in the United States Army was human relation and race relation leader. Well, I had the responsibility of going to the units that we're in command of, and any relationship or race problems they had, I was the first person on the scene. And my job was to do what's called an intake form, and I would go in and see what was wrong, and I would help decide what level of leadership or what resources we had to allocate to take care of that and fix the matter. Also, one of the biggest things I'm here tonight, this Sunday night at 9 is really designed for ladies. It's designed for you and 20 of your girlfriends, like in your living room, and you're sharing a glass of wine or whatever you drink or whatever your favorite beverage is, and you're getting together and you're talking about relationships. You're open. This is a safe place. You can really share your thoughts. Nobody gonna look at you funny. Nobody gonna say, "Oh no, she didn't." She said, "You hear what she said." Sharon, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Hey, welcome, Sharon. Glad to see you here tonight. You don't have to worry about any of those things. In this container called Sunday Night at 9, you can be yourself. You don't know, we normally talk about relationships, but we always have a subject of the week. But if you have something that's a little off the subject or a little different and you want some clarification from, ask the question. Feel free to get in as much as you want to. You can talk as long as you want to. If you can raise, you can raise your electronic hand or you can just speak. We're here to work together. Glenda, I'm sorry to take so much time, but I want to hold the male perspective. I want to be able to, if we have any questions, ladies, that a male can need to answer, I'll jump right in and take care of it. All right, Glenda, turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carpenter. No problem. We love to hear you speak and tell your background. I see Mr. Ronald Kingdom has shown up. Thank you so much. And Sharon, Ava, and Dr. Johnson, glad to see you as always. You're our faithful participants every Sunday night. Tonight's topic is part 2 from last week, reevaluating relationships in 2025. And as we touched a little bit last week on the topic, we went over identifying and evaluating our relationships from 2024 going into the new year, 2025, setting boundaries with love. We discussed that a little briefly last week, and we're going to pick up where we left off. The third point is cultivating new connections. I don't think we touched this at all, if any. Mr. Carpenter, did you say anything last week on cultivating? Because if I'm not mistaken, you did hit on it a little bit.
A little.
But you didn't go into deep detail with
it. Because we got started off. Some people said they don't go back.
Oh, yes, you're exactly right.
Some people, they don't revisit old connections. Some people said no.
Right. And actually,
for a reason.
Right. And I'm glad you said that because I wanted to clarify my response from last week because it came up later after last week's Sunday Night at 9. When I made my comment, I was referring to anybody that I've had a past relationship with. I will not revisit it. I won't go back. That's what I was saying. That's what I was talking about. But if there was a friendship and we never dated, that means we never had any issues or problems, I may consider it. So I needed to clarify that because we got a couple of calls and a couple of comments about that one little area, which we did not go in detail with last Sunday. So I wanted to clear mine up versus, let y'all think, oh, she's not going to consider anything from the past. I am not that hard, trust me. I'm very easygoing and laid back, but my yeses mean yes and my no's mean no.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Now, cultivating new connections. So to kick that one off, Mr. Carpenter, you want to start us off with that one this evening?
Yes, cultivating new connections are unique. When you're talking about cultivating new connections, that's going in and you realize you have to have some type of strategy. Normally it's a networking strategy. How do you find people to connect with? Is it the job or is it where you socialize at or is it the sports and the hobbies you have? Is it when you going to go to Walmart or is it when you go to Home Depot or is it when you go to the movies or is it when you go on your daily walk in the park? How do you network? Do you network with business people? Do you network on social media? How do you cultivate those new connections? Some people are people persons. They talk to people standing in the line at the KFC and they find somebody to talk to. Other people are more private, more to themselves. They don't connect well. So what are some of the things you do to do that? One of the things that helped me out, I'm an active listener. A lot of times when I'm in an area, I listen to people. And people normally tell you what's on their mind, and then you get some type of read just by listening to what they say. Mr. Kingdom is on the line. Mr. Kingdom told me something a long time ago. And he said that if you listen to what so much of if you listen to what a woman says, she'll tell you what's important to you. And that's very true. I find that very true because a lot of times, a lot of what we do here on Sunday night at 9 is coming from Glenda and I out in the public, and we'll listen to what some people say. And we'll say, oh, wow, that'll make a good topic. And I'll call Glenda. I said, Glenda, how was that so-and-so? And here's what I heard the lady say. And she said that. What do you think about that? Oh, Mr. Carpenter, that's a great topic. And then sometimes Glenda will say, hey, one of my girlfriends was saying this. And I thought about that. So let's look at that. So that's how we get our topics. So that networking, whether it's formal networking like a business mixer, or whether it's networking with friends, or networking social media. That's what I'm talking about, cultivating new relationships, Glenda. And somewhere in this, we're going to reevaluate our relationships going into 2025. We're about middle way of this, we'll do that. Can you bring that in right now? Since we're talking about new relationships, can I segue to 2025?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anybody on the line got a problem with me segue into 2025 first? Everybody's cool with that? Okay, all right. And the reason why I say that, because when you talk about cultivating new relationships, that's reevaluating. Let's reevaluate our relationships going into 2025. Because if the relationships you have right now aren't serving you,
right.
If they're not serving you or you're not getting what you need to get, if these people are more draining, these relationships are more draining than they are fulfilling, you may want to look at that differently. You may not want to carry that baggage. And I'm not saying the person's baggage or the relationship's baggage, but if it's not getting you what you need, if you're not feeling whole, or you're not growing, or you're not getting return on your emotional investment in the relationship you're in right now, don't carry that baggage into 2025.
Right.
And sometimes you have to make space in your life, because being in a relationship with somebody is time consuming. Mm-hmm. And it's sometimes get expensive, because that's where that date what you can afford comes from. and that's not me saying it, but I heard people say that. So and a lot of people, their love language is time. A lot of people are clingy and needy because their relationship is so time. So, and that's what Sharon said, it's like babysitting. You're correct, Sharon. And you don't want to take that into 2025. So you want to make space in your life for 2025, because if you babysitting somebody and they're draining you, or they think you're the paymaster, or they think you're the cooking lady, they think you're the burger chef, and you got to go and take them in 2025, you don't have space for nobody else in your life. Right. So you might have to cut loose or reduce or change or reduce the time you spend with people in 2025. And we got what's called the reset button. You have to reset your relationship going into 2025 if they're not serving you. Now, if your relationships are serving you, then your goal for 2025 is to see how you can love better, see how you can give more, see how you can be more, and see how you can take your relationship to the next level if it's serving you. Hey, Angela, glad to see you here. But if relationship is not, if the relationship is not serving you, then you don't want to take that relationship into 2025. Because 2025 need to be the year that you're doing, you're working on all cylinders. Your relationship is giving you what you need. Your relationship is giving you the time with someone. The relationship is giving you fulfillment. The relationship is helping you grow. The relationship is giving you a partner that you can do things with. The relationship is really blossoming. Because we talked about attachment styles early in this year, and we can talk about attachment styles tonight. We can get a review on that tonight. But when you look at your relationships right now, reevaluate your relationships. And it's not saying that the person's bad. It's not saying that the person may not did anything wrong. It's just that it's not a right fit for you right now. And you don't want to drag that into 2025, because you have to make space. You can't take a lot of relationships that's not serving you, not giving you take you to the next level into 2025. You have to create space. And now's the time to relook and evaluate that. Who's in your corner? When you look at your relationship, reevaluating relationship, who's in your corner? Who can you rely on? Who's really got your back? Who's your ride or die? You know, who's helping you grow? Who's getting you to the next level? Who's adding in your life? Who's giving you that return on emotional deposits in your life? Who's going to get you to that next level? If they're not doing it, if they're more of a drain and you got to figure stuff out, you might want to evaluate that. And you don't have to cut them off, but you might have to reduce the time you spend with them.
Right.
You might have to say, well, hey, Billy Bob. Billy Bob, we've been spending an awful lot of time together in 2024. But Billy Bob, I'm more concerned about getting my career right. So we might have to slow down a little bit. You might not have to kill Billy Bob. You might have to push him to the side a little bit. Or Sally or Sue. And those are the type of things we're talking about. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get carried away with that. But anybody on the line, anybody here tonight, can you give us some examples, or can you tell us how you may reconsider, how you may reevaluate the relationships you got right now? How can you make relationships serve you better? How can you go into 2025? Every relationship you got right now today, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, or whether it's a relative, or whether it's a coworker, or whether it's a friend, if that relationship is draining you and not serving you, if that relationship is not clear, do you want to take it in 2025? Go ahead, Angela. You want to say something because your light lit up?
No.
All right. Okay. Anybody want to comment on that? Let's get your thoughts about that. How would you shed some of that baggage, or how would you reevaluate relationships going into 2025? Or you might say, "Hey, look, I'm straight. Everybody I'm dealing with in 2024, we're gonna roll into 2025. Come Tuesday, Wednesday, we're gonna have a ball." In case I'm happy for you. You gonna say something?
Yeah, I would say about you said, well, how can we get rid of some of that baggage, or what can we do different? And
Yes.
what I decided to do was just not a relationship, but just friendship is not that being pushed aside, not letting someone just brush off what you're saying or how you feeling by, like letting them just say anything or go to another topic, because it's draining saying the same thing over and over again, because they're not listening or not paying any attention.
That is tremendous. What you said, you're not being heard. They don't value your opinion. They don't value you. They don't value your time.
Right.
It's a drain. Correct. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome. Dr. Johnson, yours lit up. Were you saying something, Dr. Johnson?
I'm a listener too, and I get phone calls all the time from people, wanting to talk, wanting prayer, but reevaluating for 2025 just to get on the phone to talk about your issues, and you've been talking about them for eons and not taking in consideration and advice, then I don't have time for it. But seriously, hearing people and praying with people is most important to me.
Yes. And you know what? I noticed something, because Dr. Johnson, I love talking to you, and I notice how kind you are and how you listen. A lot of times that's to your own detriment sometimes, because you're so easy to talk to. I can call you on the phone and talk. And if I want to, we talk hours and hours. I don't know, I don't even know your schedule. I don't know what you got. But if you have that opening to anybody, if you some people are lonely and just want to holler. Yeah. And they ain't got nothing to do. Yeah. They will burn your time and your phone up.
But I am the type of person, I just don't stay on the phone with you just to be on the phone with you. And we talking and I hear you pause. No, see ya.
Understand.
It's her exit strategy.
Rufus.
Yes, sir.
I can only speak on my past and what I would do and what I've done.
Okay.
the pattern.
Good.
And the first thing I would do, I can't speak for no one else, is sit down and bend on what makes me happy in a relationship, friendship, or whatever ship it is. You got to figure out what makes you happy, what makes you tick. And then you go from there. Then you implement someone else in it. You got to listen. And like I've always said, communication is the key. If you listen to a person, you know what to communicate with them about. You understand? So then you look at if you're in a relationship or a friendship, you got to sway on the pros and the cons within that relationship or friendship. If your pros outweigh the cons, then you can move forward because there's always room for improvement because it's on the good side. But if your cons outweigh the pros, then what you have to do is evaluate and think about your happiness and where you at in your life. You sit down, you weigh, and you pray, and you be like, hey, is this what I'm looking forward to for the next year? Is this what I want to go through? Is this what I want to deal with? And if not, then you got to start figuring out a way to get the cons behind the pros. Because you, as one person, is the one that's got to be happy within. If you're happy with yourself, meaning that, like with me, I had to learn how to love myself over again. If you're happy with yourself and what's going on, then by all means, you move forward. But if you're not, our life now is too short. And I'm speaking from my train accident, my recent accident. Life is too short and it's not promised to you. You're allowed to be happy. Your goal is to succeed and be happy. And you can't do that being content. Content is not the favorite word to be used. So I would not be content in a relationship. I want to thrive and get better. Because that's what the name of the game is. When you're in a business, you want to thrive that business and become better in that business. So that's just my opinion on it.
I'm glad you did have some comments because, and listen to you talk, I want to bring out one point. When you reevaluate your relationship, when you sit down and do some self-thinking and self-care, and you decide all relationships you're in aren't relationships you want to go into in 2025. When you reduce your time with someone or break off with someone or move them into a lower lane in your life, this is not a bad thing. A lot of people think, well, if I stop talking to you, I did you wrong, you did me wrong, it's bad. No, feedback is very important. Feedback is not a bad thing. Feedback should be neutral. It shouldn't be negative. If me and you in a relationship and I come to you and say, hey, look, you know what? I really enjoyed the time with you. We've had some great times. But right now, my focus is on something else. I really don't have the time or I really can't devote myself to you right now because here's what I'm doing. That should be neutral. That shouldn't be negative. You shouldn't be ready to throw no hot grits on me. You shouldn't be ready to say, oh, what the hell are you doing here? That's not the way it works. That's feedback.
It's not.
Feedback, it should be neutral. Go ahead.
It's not always the feedback too. It's what they call constructive criticism. And that comes with communication. If I communicate with you, okay, let's say me and the young lady there's in a relationship, okay? If I'm communicating with you, expressing how I feel, you're expressing how you feel. If we're not connecting, we're not vibing, it's not meant to be, I can't get mad at you for how you feel, as well as you can't get mad at how I feel. So if you're on a neutral agreement, then you can step away. I ain't say ghost nobody because ghosting is leaving stuff undone. When you just ghost somebody, you just leaving it open and undone. There's no resolution behind it. Whereas if I communicate with you and you know where I stand, and now I'm cutting back from you, you already know why I'm cutting back.
Right.
So you have no right or no, well, you do have a right, but it's not fair for you to get upset with somebody because they stepping away, because you know why they stepping away.
Right.
And in order to keep them in line and in track with you, then that's when you need to step up and be like, oh, I need to evaluate myself and see what I can do to better it, to keep them there. Because I've always said, prior to learning myself, loving myself, I've always thrived on, I'd rather have a little piece of you than none of you. You understand?
Think that same way, but women don't think that way. I don't think women, I think it's a man thing. I don't think that's a woman thing. Some lady comment on that, please.
It's not just a man and a woman thing. That's a mutual thing.
Oh, let's let a lady comment on that. Some lady want to comment on that part. I'd rather have a piece of you than none of you. Did you light up, Angela?
I did not.
Okay.
It's a piece new or nothing.
So what's the piece?
Well, now, let me go back and explain that.
Please.
When I said a piece of you, I'd rather have a little piece of you than none of you, I was referring to before I learned to love myself, to make me happy. You understand? I was married for 18 and a half years. And I'd rather have that piece of you to keep me somewhat sane on that level, because I was always about them, never about me. So I always wanted to do what I could to keep a piece of you there. You understand? To opposed to just letting you walk away completely. I believe in friendship, not enemies. If I just walk away and not have none of you, then there's no resolution there at all. So there's animosity there, because it's what if, what coulda, woulda, shouldas, and all that stuff. You don't want that. You want to leave with a clean slate with understanding. You want to close that chapter in your life.
Now,
That's all I was saying.
I see Glenda face doing some everything. So
well, Glenda need to speak up then.
So if Glenda face doing that and Dr. Johnson shaking her head, ladies, come on, ladies, let's talk.
Tell me, because I'm only one person and one opinion. I can only speak on what Ronald done and what Ronald was doing. I need feedback. Hey, I could be wrong.
I didn't understand that.
Go what you say, Sharon. I think you lit up, Sharon. You look like you lit up.
Yeah, I did. I said I didn't understand that. I'd rather not have a piece of you. I'd rather have nothing at all, because a piece of you is only going to satisfy what you want from that person. That's not giving you what you need from that person.
Let me ask a question.
Wait. Let me clarify.
Wait. Bo, before you answer Sharon, let Angela ask a question. Then you can answer Angela and Sharon. Go ahead, Angela.
Wait, I go ahead. Let Sharon finish, because I just lost my thought. But
all right, Sharon, go ahead, Sharon.
Because what I was saying was, like if you value that person and that person means something to you, then just having that little piece just for your purpose, that's not satisfying. That's not what you need. That's not gonna give you what you need. If that's all I can get from that person, because they're not willing to give anything else, then I'd rather have nothing at all.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Pieces and parts.
Let me clarify.
My question is, did he want to have a piece?
No.
Is it because you have children together?
Let me clarify something. Let me go back and clarify something. If you listen to what I said, when I said I'd rather have a piece of you than none of you, I was referring to before I fell in love with myself and learned myself. That's the way I was. Mm-hmm. I didn't say that's the way it need to be or should be or any of that nature. I was speaking on the past tense, on how I used to think when I spoke that, because the way I see it, okay, you can be cordial and you can be friends. You don't necessarily have to have that piece to be whole or satisfied. You understand? That was before. And that's what I said. Before I learned to love myself, I used to want that peace. That's not now. I don't have to have that peace now. Y'all missed the word before.
Okay, I understand.
Well,
Okay.
Bo. Let me help you out because I'm like you said at first, Bo. That piece of that person. I much rather I to me if we loved or had a relationship in the past, if you don't shoot me or throw hot grits on me, I want to feel that we still have a friendship and and we have something. I don't want to think that we loved or had a relationship and now we can't talk to each other, can't see each other, can't even be in the same room, can't even be in the same space. When Bo said he'd rather have a peace than none, and especially if we was in a relationship or friends, just because that romantic part didn't work out, we can't be friends.
Can I make a comment?
Please,
Dr.
please.
Johnson, please, Dr. Johnson.
Before Mr. Kingdom, before he realized and found himself, he wanted the piece of that person, the Piece of the person. But after he found himself and knowing of himself and loving himself, no, he need the Peace of that person. And because he done found a peace within himself. So he don't need a piece of a person, a Piece, because he done found that he loving himself. So whatever type of relationship he get into or whatever, she should have a peace with it because he have peace within him.
What you said spoke for me. Now that's you clarified what I was saying perfect. What you said there matched me perfect, Dr. Johnson. So thank you. I don't think I could have made it that clear. So thank you. Any additional comments on this before we move any further? Because we want to make sure we get this straight. Because we don't want to take baggage or anything unnecessary in 2025. We need to make space in our relationship life.
Right.
Anyone else before we move to the next level? Turn back over to
Angela,
Glenda.
did your thought come back to you, Angela?
No, I got clarity because my question was, did he want that peace because of the fact they had in his previous relationship of 18 years, was it because of the sake of the children? That was my question.
In that 18-year marriage, and when I was speaking up on that peace, I'd rather have a piece of you than none of you. First of all, I did not believe in divorces.
Right.
You understand? And I don't believe in, I'm a people person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a God-fearing person, and my heart is strictly open, and it's just there. So with that being said, I don't want animosity. I don't want drama. So to make
right.
things work with my relationship or my marriage, like I would explain to her, I can go anywhere and do whatever I want outside, but I'd rather have a piece of you and be happy with that little piece than to do anything else. But then once I learned to love me, and I realized I don't need a piece of nobody else. I need to be at peace. That's why I didn't comment on the doctor, because now I'm at peace with myself. So I don't need that little piece of you to hold on or whatever. I have a child by you in that 18-year marriage. I got to be cordial with you because of my child. But then on the flip side, I can't make you be cordial with me. So therefore, by me being at peace with myself, I'm okay with you not speaking to me. I'm okay with you moving on. Because now I done closed that door where I can move on. I don't need that coulda, woulda, shoulda, what if, maybe. I don't need to go backwards. You understand? That's what I was saying. So now I don't need that piece of nobody because I can be happy because I love myself. So I can be by myself. As they said in the Bible, I came in this world by myself, I'm going to leave by myself. So therefore, I don't rely on nobody else. Right. It just so happened the person that I'm married to now, she brings to the table equally what I have to the table. So therefore, we work together. We communicate together. So it's totally different. But I had to learn how to love myself first. So I know now how to love her, which she learn how to love herself to learn how to love me. So now that's why we working. We there. I don't care what nobody say. We there.
That's beautiful. Forgiveness have totally set in. I mean, it's something when you get to the point that nothing and nobody disturb your peace. See, peace was given unto you, and you have to guard it at whatever the cost.
Peace be still.
You have to guard it. Nobody really can take your peace. You give it away.
Yeah.
So you've taken it back. Nobody can take it. It's given. You gave it away, and now you've taken it back. So that's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Sharon, can you explain that text you just text that chat you just had? Can you explain it, Sharon?
What do you mean?
You just put something in the chat. Can you explain it?
Yeah. Once you have that inner love for yourself, that you don't need nobody to validate who you are or how you see yourself or whatever. Once you have that kind of peace, nobody can disturb that. From there, you can learn to love others.
And self-care and self-love is not selfish, y'all.
Right.
You can't
No, it's
pour
not.
from an empty cup. Remember that. When you pour from a cup, when you pour out a blessing to someone else, you don't bless from the cup. You bless from the overflow.
Right.
So
you
God
gotta
bless
understand.
you when the overflow is what you pour from. You don't pour so much from inside the cup. That's yours. You're being blessed to be a blessing.
But Rufus, I need to clarify something else too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When you speak on loving yourself, when you find yourself, you understand, that's including your flaws. That includes all your good attributes. That's you as a whole.
Yeah.
And when you do that, then you go back to where they say treat others as you want to be treated.
Exactly.
You're able to do that now because you know what makes you tick, what makes you mad, what gets you going. And when you start treating other people as you want to be treated, you at peace and you calm, then everybody ain't gonna give you that back. But then you can handle what they give you because of who you are. Am I making sense now?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're making sense, and you following our key concepts for tonight. Because our key concepts tonight in our study guide, we've got what's called identify and evaluate. And the first thing we tell you, look inward first. We tell you look inward and get yourself aligned. And you just spoke that very clearly. You just look inward and got yourself in line. So you've already talked the next topic already. You already got that. You got your good and your flaws. And after that, signs of growth. In relationships, what are some signs of growth in relationships? When you have, and one thing I said, when I said feedback should be negative, because normally you go to somebody and tell them, hey, look, we need to reduce what we're doing. I'm not happy, blah, blah, blah. They ready to fight. You saying, oh, this is feedback. Hold up. Don't just let you know.
For every action, there is a reaction. So you have to communicate and communicate wisely to get the proper reaction to your action. If you're not communicating, you just blurring stuff out or you just acting out, then you're going to get negative feedback. You're going to get negative reaction.
I got to share this. I always got to have fun on Sunday nights. I'm sorry, y'all. This is one of the moments, some rare moments I got to have some fun. Inside of me, there's a king and there's a fool. Normally, when people talk to me, either the fool going to listen and come out or either the king going to come out. So both what you just said, if a person addressed the fool in me, they gonna get the fool answer.
Like I said, there's a reaction for every action. You get what you give. And if you can't take it, then you don't never need to give it.
Yeah, you're right.
I agree with you on that. Because it's not going to come back the same way.
No, that's part of what I was saying. You treat people as you want to be treated. And that's, I look at it from the good side. If I can't say nothing good to you about you, I ain't going to say nothing. But that's me. Everybody ain't me.
Okay.
When I go in the store, I used to be a cashier in a store. You come in there with an attitude, you throw the money on the table. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it back to you as you gave it to me. If you don't put it in my hand, I'm going to put it right back where you put it. You understand? That's how I used to be. Now, because of who I am now, I think first. And because of what I've been through, I look at life totally different. So I can't compare myself to no one else.
Right.
Because I don't let nothing interfere with my life. Because I'm going to live happy.
That's your piece. You don't give it away.
And I'm not giving away and nobody can take it.
That's right. Only if you give it.
I can be friends with a crackhead, drunk, or wine, or whatever they are. I can be their friend as long as they respect me when they're around me.
Right.
Okay.
If you go to the disrespect part, guess what I do? I know how to deal with you, so I know whether to be there that day or around you, or I know not to be around you.
Bo, you must have read our study guide, Bo, because you following our study guide very closely.
I don't know nothing about no study guide, bro. I speak from wisdom. And like I told you before, I used to give seminars.
Because in our study guide, in our signs of growth, it says recognizing relationships that help you flourish versus the ones that keep you stagnant or to your detriment. So going to 2025, how are we going to recognize those relationships that will help us flourish and grow versus the ones that will keep us stagnant or the ones that will take us down to our detriment? How do we recognize those? What are some of the signs?
The best way to recognize it, best way to recognize it is, first of all, learn yourself and see what you need and what you want and what makes you tick. Once you realize what makes you tick and what makes you happy, then you know what's going to make you happy in a relationship, friendship, or whatever you want to call it.
Can I piggyback on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Rufus, you said going forward, how are you going to know? How do you know? You know. You already know. You don't want to face it or actually see it for what it is, but you know what relationships or friendships are good and what's not.
The reason why I brought that out, somebody told me today that says if they go to shaking their head or scratching their head in a relationship, they say this a wrap. They already know what the deal is.
You know what the main word for that is, Rufus?
What?
Maturity. Maturity, because once you mature, you know what you want in life.
That's right.
You know what makes you tick and what make you click.
Right.
And if it ain't making you tick or click, then you need to leave that S.
So
suppose I got dandruff.
Then get some. If you got dandruff, then you need to get some head and shoulders.
Dandruff to break up my relationship.
Scratching your head.
Get you some head and
Maybe
shoulders.
You need to ask for some more clarity.
This must be the last Sunday night, huh? The last Sunday for the year.
Oh my gosh.
Just remember now, you asked the question is, what if you got dandruff? Dandruff can cloud your vision. Because if you got that much dandruff and go to scratching, it's going to get in your eyesight. So what you need to do is get some head and shoulders to keep your eyesight open and clear.
You guys are something else. Let's keep it moving because we want to close this subject out tonight.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get off track.
You're fine. It's all good. It's all good. What are some of the boundaries that you feel you need to take into 2025? What are some of the boundaries you need to put in place? What are some of the, if anybody online have problems setting boundaries, or anybody online have some new boundaries that they want to share with us to help us grow and reevaluate our 2025 relationships? What are some loving boundaries that we need to put in place that would be a good idea that somebody want to share going into 2025? What are some of the boundaries we need to look at? Do we need to not be so accessible in 2025?
You know, that's a question that's hard to answer though, Rufus, because each person is an individual, and what click for that person don't click for the other one. You understand?
That's why I asked them, they have it that they want to share. Do we have any, what clicks for you? What are some of the things you want to share that you found success with in boundaries that we may want to know something about?
Well, I let the lady speak on that first, and then I reply. I respond.
Dr. Johnson still talking about dandruff.
And I'm still talking about head and shoulders.
Y'all a mess tonight. Y'all a mess.
I tell you what, if you don't want to go get no head and shoulders, go get some Sufraid. That'll work just as good.
And that'll smell a relationship away.
Dr. Johnson, can't nobody win with you.
Oh boy.
So no lady's going to respond to that.
Ladies, what are some of the boundaries that you use that you can put in place?
So for me, can y'all hear me? For me, what I'm finally starting to wake up and realize, if it's not going to help me grow or positive or help me progress, it's not worth it.
You're going to nip it in the bud sooner rather than later.
Yes, if it's not healthy for me or can help me progress or grow or I can learn from it, it's not worth even dealing with.
Okay.
You know, that's a broad statement. In my book, that's a broad statement.
Okay.
And I explain why I say that. Okay. Like I said, I can only speak from my livelihood and my experiences. The reason that's a broad statement because everything in life can give you growth. And what I mean by that is your bad and your worst that you experience give you growth, because it's not what you go through, it's what you learn from when you come through it. So everything that you experience is going to elevate you one way or the other. So you really can't say that, because if you're in a relationship, your pros might be outweighing your cons, but yet and still that one particular con can be real detrimental, but then it can give you growth. So that's kind of like a broad statement in my book.
But Mr. Kingdom, yes. and I kind of, what Sharon said struck a chord with me, because in this time, this age of what's called modern relationships, they've got people out here that you can't survive from. That one mistake can take you out. People are playing for keeps now. You know,
they are.
It's gotten tight for some people, so some mistakes people can't survive from.
I personally believe that some stuff is avoidable. I mean, I strongly believe that you get red flags in the beginning of any friendship or relationship that will give you the insight that you need to know whether or not you want to let this relationship continue, or if you want to keep watering it so it can flourish and, nourish it so it can grow. I mean, a lot of times people ignore the red flags right out the gate, to the point where before you know it, you already know. I know for myself, I was in a relationship, won't tell you how soon or late in life it was, but I knew in the first 5 years, I'm not going to marry this man. And I was in my, over 35 years old age. So I knew at that time I wasn't going to marry him, but I continued to stay in the relationship. But in thinking about what Mr. Kingdom said tonight, I learned from it, because I continued that relationship on, but I learned a lot from it, because I believe that relationship stopped me from getting in another bad relationship that would have been worse than the one that I was currently in. So I didn't have to sleep with him. I didn't have to cook for him. It was easy to tell him no. I mean, it was actually the perfect relationship for me because I didn't lose myself or give too much of myself to the individual. So it worked out for me in the long run. And when I decided, okay, well, this is enough, there was a ray of sunshine that came out for me when I called it quits because I decided I no longer wanted to, invest any more time in this relationship. And actually, long story short, I was tremendously blessed just by coming out of that. I was blessed tremendously. I mean, I felt like this time around, I was able to get out of park and no longer stay in neutral because I could never get out of park in my relationships. I'm like, you still don't know how to take the trash out. You don't know how to pull the trash can to the front of the house, to the back of the house. You come on now. You don't know how to wash a dish, sweep a floor. I could never get past that phase in my relationships. The beginning parts, I said, I couldn't even deal with the complex issues because I was still stuck on the little minor issues. So that was my takeaway. But I know that going into 2025, I know that as far as boundaries go for myself and my future relationships, I'm going to continue to be more open and honest and let the individual know what my expectations and what I desire and what I want. So there won't be any mystery or any confusion. We'll always stay on the same page. And if we're not on the same page, that'll be an area for us to discuss before the relation goes into 10, 15 years and you want to circle back.
When you're in a relationship such as that right there, and you contend and you just try to hang in there, a grown person and even a kid, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you will make a move.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You will make a move because when you learn to love yourself and learn what your boundaries are within yourself, you're only going to let it go so far. Because as I said, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're going to ghost them, walk away, do whatever you have to do to move on.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be at peace when you move on.
Right.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, Sharon.
Okay. Ronald, I think that's your Kingdom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question for you. Okay, remember you was telling us about you worked at a grocery store, and however the person handed you the money, or however the person reacted to you, that's how you reacted back.
Yes.
Okay, but now I'm confused because my definition or my outlook is if I love myself, I'm not gonna react to what a person does. I'm gonna go past
Okay. Let me stop you for a second. I hear what you're saying, but I need to stop you for a second.
Bo, let her finish what she's saying, because what we do is we let them get it all out, because this is therapeutic for everybody. Because this right here container, we don't challenge people. We let them get it all out.
I'm not challenging. I was just finna show her something real quick.
You can still show her after she finished.
Go ahead.
No, I wasn't. The only reason I was saying it is because, I know people that their personality doesn't change. I mean, they're just that type of person. Regardless of how someone speaks to them or act towards them, because of the type of person they are, they don't react to a person's reaction because it's like they just happy and love themselves that it doesn't even bother them. But see, now I have issues with that. I'm like you. However somebody acts towards me, that I'm acting back tenfold. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
But
okay, now my whole thing is about communication and listening. I tried to listen so I could react accordingly. When I made the comment about being in retail as a cashier, okay, and I said, the way you give it to me, I give it back. I also let you know, I made the comment that was before I learned to love myself. You understand? I don't give the reaction that you give me. I mean, from the action you give me, I'm not going to turn and give you that karma back. Right. That's not me no more, because I know better now. Once I learned to love me, I'm a whole different person. That was before. And that's what I said. That was before.
Okay, I got you. I got
Right.
you. Now I can understand that.
Okay. Anybody else got any comments? Because we're getting to the last 6 minutes of this. And since this is the last Sunday of the year, and this is our last time meeting in 2024, we wanted to make sure that you had a good review of what we talked about in 2025. And we want to make sure, or what we did talk about in 2024, going into 2025. And we want to give you a quick review of some of the major topics that we covered. So that way everybody's on the same sheet of music. Anybody on the line right now have anything they want to say or comment on or want to refresh or share before we start wrapping this up?
Yes, I want to say something real quick.
Yes,
Real
go ahead,
quick.
sir. Go ahead, sir.
To each and everyone that's on the line, okay? I speak from my life and my livelihood. If there's something that can better me, what you have in your mind, please bring it forward, because I'm not perfect and I'm still learning. You understand?
Yeah.
So feel free to speak to me freely, openly. Okay? And everybody have a happy new year.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to talk?
Yes, something Glenda said earlier, and I was making a little note, is when you get to the point you realize that the relationship that you've been in is not a waste of time. That because you've now gotten to your point, enough has been enough. You can just call an end to it and move on in peace and in love. When your enough has been enough and you realize that the relationship has been stagnant or whatever, not to say it was a waste of time. It was a waste of time in my life being in relationship with this person. When you get to that point, it's really not a waste of time. It has been a learning curve, a learning experience, so that you can do something different with your next relationship.
Correct. I will receive that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Angela. Anybody else want to share anything before we start wrapping this up? Okay, Sharon, yes, I'll pray for that win one crazy sweeps. Oh, okay, I got it. Win a sweepstake. All right, awesome. I want to win one too, Sharon. Okay, anybody else want to say anything before we start wrapping this up? Okay, you want to do the review from this last year? Or you want me to do it, Glenda?
Go ahead, you're on a roll.
Okay. If you were on Sunday, if you're Sunday night with us, we started last year, so it's the whole year. This is wrapping up 2024. 2024, we did a lot of interesting Sunday nights at 9. One of the biggest hits we did was the 5 love languages, where we went and talked about the 5 love languages, and we talked about there's 5, and they're very simple. The first one was words of affirmation, where you let the person know that you appreciate them, so they can let them know they're noticed. The next one was service provided. Like Glenda said, take the trash out and do things around the house and take the load off your spouse or your lover, your significant other, or your family member. The next one is receiving gifts. If you want to give gift or receiving gifts is the next one. You like to surprise person if you're just buying a shirt or buying coffee or whatever it is, giving gifts. The next one, and this is a lot, everybody love this one. This is called spending quality time with a person, setting aside a time. It could be as little as date night. It could be as little as, hey, look, we're going to walk at 5 o'clock and we're going to walk for 30 minutes or because we're going to go on vacation together. That's that quality time. And my favorite is physical touch. Oh, I love to touch. I'll touch you, feel it all over you. But that's my love language. So those are 5 love languages. Then another big one we had was your attachment styles. And a lot of people say your attachment style is your blueprint for love, or your blueprint for a romance is your attachment styles. And it's basically 4 of them. And the first one that most people have is understanding your attachment styles. And the first one is secure attachment. Secure attachment means that you feel comfortable with your love. You feel comfortable expressing yourself when you and your lover or you and your special person together. You hold hands out in public. You go places together. You have acts of affection out in public. You're not afraid. You show them. You tell them how you feel about them. The next one is anxious, avoidance. Anxious is you're anxious, meaning that you're always in an uproar. You think they're gonna leave you. You get clingy because when a person's out of your sight, you think they're doing something wrong. You don't want them to go. You don't trust them because you think something, if they're not in your presence, you can't hold or touch them, they may be out doing something wrong. And that's a real bad style. The next one is avoidance. Avoidance is that you much rather be independent than be with your lover. You're independent. You feel you value your independence more than you value being close to a person. You kind of standoffish. A lot of Black women have gotten this stereotype that they avoid being with you because a lot of African American women are head of households. Some of like single households where they don't have time for no bull stuff. They have to be about it. You know, they have to go and be about taking care and making sure the house, their family runs well. So not that they're avoiding you a lot, it's just that they don't have time. So a lot of times, Black ladies, y'all get a bad rap behind that. But avoidance style meaning that you much rather spend more time by yourself. And then the last one is fearful avoidance. Fearful avoidance is someone that don't know what they want. They don't know whether they want to be with you, don't know what they want to be without you. It's always a constant fight. They want to be close, then they want to be far, and you can never read them because they don't know what they want. And those are the 5 attachment styles. And one of the other biggest things we did, we talked about the stages of romance or the stages of relationships. And the first stage we said was the honeymoon stage or the intro stage, where the early days in your relationship with somebody. Some people call this the runway, where you get to meet this person. Oh man, they can't do nothing wrong, man. You're clingy. You always want them on your sight. They're so beautiful. You love them. They love you. And you're just so enamored with this person. You can't let them out your sight. And that's the honeymoon stage. And that's great because you're getting to know each other. But as you get to spend more time with them, all of a sudden it begins to wear off. And then you start looking at this person, you be saying, oh man, wait a minute. This person got some issues. It ain't all I thought it was. And that stage is the norming stage and the uncertain stage. And this stage is required because this is when you decide, is this person a keeper or not a keeper? When you get there, you say, well, maybe, can I tolerate this? Can we have something here? And if the answer is yes, you go to the adjustment stage where, yeah, we can make it. We got some differences because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. So we're in the third stage, which is called the adjustment stage and the blitz stage. Yeah, we can do it. We just got to work through it. Or you don't even get to stage 3. In the uncertain stage, you say, man, this ain't it. I'm out. He's out. So you never get to that third stage, adjustment stage or blitz stage. Now back to that third stage. When that third stage, the little differences you have, you begin to work them out. Because sometimes being different works better because some people say, I don't want nobody just like me because it's 2 of the same person. It ain't gonna work. Some people want a little different. So you and that person work it out and you guys work it out. And then as you begin to work it out and stay together, you get into the next stage. And the next stage is called the commitment stage, where you and that person gets to be exclusive. You get committed to each other. You start loving each other. You start spending the time. You start doing the 5 love languages you find out, and you're together. And then that final stage is acceptance stage, where you accept each other. Man, you guys are awesome and working. You're in blitz. And this is normally when people decide to get married, have children, or get to become philanthropists, where they begin to give stuff. They begin to spend a lot of time volunteering and stuff like that. Okay, the next thing that we went through, we found out that when you break up a relationship, and Dr. Johnson was very vocal in this one, she said, and she was talking about there's 5 stages of grief. It's almost in a relationship, it's almost like somebody died. When your relationship over with sometimes, it's almost as if somebody have died. There's a doctor, I think her name, what was that doctor's name? Dr. Elizabeth Ross. She was the one that came up with the 5 stages of grief. And the first stage most people get into, and you don't have to follow this example that I'm gonna give. I'm gonna give you the 5 stages in order, but they don't necessarily come that way. The first stage is denial. Oh, it didn't happen. No, 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 no. We ain't broke up. Hey, Susie, we ain't broke up. You just had a bad day, girl. I ain't going nowhere. I don't believe this ain't happening. And that's denial. They denied it happened. And they called Susie. Susie, what are you calling me? So then Susie put a block on you. You can't call Susie. But that's where it goes. The next stage is anger. You're mad. Why in the hell they break up with me for? I did all this, I did that, blah, 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 and you're angry. You're angry. And I've seen people, when they get angry, do some dumb stuff, slash tires, throw bricks, call the police, all kind of crazy stuff. Then the next stage is bargaining stage. Then the bargaining stage is they negotiate. Hey, look, Sally. Look, I know I was a bad boy and you caught me red-handed, but if you give me one more chance, I'll prove to you that I'm the man you want me to be. Even Oprah will be jealous. So that's the bargaining stage. And sometimes the bargaining stage, they even talk to God. They said, God, please, God, if you let Susie take me back this time, God, if you can prick her heart and give her some peace and let her give me grace, I won't do this again, God. So sometimes people get spiritual, get on their knees and pray, try to pray it back. People do some strange things. Next is depression. You want to get out of bed. Oh Lord, I can't go to work today. I'm calling out sick. I don't feel right. I got a headache. My stomach hurt. I'm sick. And that's the depressed stage. The last stage, and one of the stages that we ask that people get into, or we try to work people into, is acceptance stage. You accept this over. Hey, you okay? You accept, like you said, I think somebody said earlier that Dr. Johnson said peace. You have peace with it. And that's acceptance stage. And these are the biggest things we did this year, was these events. Because going into 2025, we want to make sure that you're standing in the best relationship possible for your 2025. 2025, we want that to be the year that you find the best relationship possible. Even if your relationship right now, and your relationship is a keeper. Like Dr. Johnson said, she started saying she was this is her 17th wedding anniversary, Dr. Johnson. Was that it?
11th.
11th. It was 11th wedding anniversary. And she looks so nice. She's so dressed up and looks so good. If that's the thing, you want to know how you're going to make that 12th year anniversary so much better than 11th year. How you going to top what you did this year? How you going to top it? And if you just meeting your boo or somebody you really love and you want to work on it, how are you going to make that relationship better? If you're in a relationship that you may have some issues, how are you going to fix those issues, or how are you going to find another boo? Going into 2025, you need to realize something. If it's not growing you, if it's not beneficial, if you're not getting what you need, then you might need to consider. And we try to say that feedback is not negative. Feedback should be neutral. You should be able to tell a person how you feel without worrying about repercussions or worried about your tires getting slashed or a brick through your windshield. So this is where we're trying to get there. Glenda, I'm sorry, Glenda, I will turn it over to you because I think that's all I had in the review of 2024.
Okay. Well, you did a great job as always. We are almost 10 minutes past our time. Okay. I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone has a safe holiday, and make sure that if you drink, make sure you have someone else doing the driving for you. But I look forward to seeing you on our 2025 first Sunday night at 9, Mr. Carpenter.
One thing I want to say, we're changing the format a little bit going into 2025. We're changing the format a little bit. What we're going to do is, because we found out that a lot of times when we start out and we ask questions in the beginning of it without giving a lot of information at first, a lot of times people don't want to talk because they don't know which way the conversation is going to go. So what we're going to do now, we're going to try to be front end load, where we're going to give a lot of the background about the topic in the first 5 or 10 minutes that we come on the air. We're going to kind of like flesh the whole topic out to you. And then after the 10 minutes, we'll start asking questions. So by that time, you'll know how it's going to flow. because we want everybody participation going into 2025, because we want 2025 to really let everybody be heard, let everybody be a part of the program. Because everybody's here tonight, you guys are our founding members. You guys are the guys that really made, when I say guys, everybody, you're the people that really made Sunday Night at 9 what it is, and we appreciate you for that. So we're going to change the format a little bit. Everything is the same. It's going to be the same way we come on, but we're just going to, first 5 or 10 minutes, before we ask anybody any questions, we're going to try to give you the meat and the potatoes of the topic first. So that way, when we ask questions, and you can jump in and you feel free to have a good conversation about what we're talking about, because you already know the way we're going with it. Would that be beneficial to everybody? Would that help out a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Thank you for your time. All right, everybody, next week, same place, same time.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.